President of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on the stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
This is a new variant.
Yes, I can. Matter of fact, I signed off this morning on a proposal we have to present to the Congress a request for additional funding for a new vaccine that is necessary, that works. And tentatively, not decided finally, but tentatively it is recommended that, it would likely be recommended that everybody get it, no matter whether they got it before or not.
Right. So, Carly, let's break this down for a second, top to bottom. So our president is using secret flights to small airports to move unaccompanied illegal migrants, children, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that he's doing it in secret, one can presume, is so that no one knows about it. And to Lawrence's point, you know, who does know about it are the people in Central and South America. And that's why they are paying smugglers to take their children on this perilous journey north to get onto these planes and then be distributed everywhere. And we are waiting for the border numbers, the border encounter numbers, like I mentioned earlier, but the numbers that we do have, the amount of encounters between Border Patrol and unaccompanied migrant children are enough to fill Madison Square Garden every month in succession, Carly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you know, the situation with the flights, I guess shouldn't come as a surprise because the Biden administration did this in May. They were sending flights filled with migrant children, but in the middle of the night, and those flights were landing in Tennessee. And I think what's happening is the Biden administration is really caught off guard with just how unpopular their immigration policies are. And I say that they're caught off guard because, and I guess to President Biden's credit, he told the American people that he was going to do this. I mean, he ran on the platform of reversing President Trump's policies on immigration. And during the Democratic debate, when he was asked if his health care plan would provide coverage for illegal immigrants, his hand shot up along with everybody else. So the American people knew what they were getting when they voted for him. And now they see what it looks like and they don't like it. And a lot of even Democrats, because his poll numbers are 23% approval on immigration and border issues. That means that a lot of Democrats are missing President Trump's policies, which is wild because he was vilified for those policies. The last thing I'll say on this is that this is really the first time that our country has had an open border. I mean, even President Obama, he was labeled the deporter in chief. And all it takes is one horrific situation where a Border Patrol agent, God forbid, gets shot, or there's another, God forbid, Kate Steinle situation. And the Biden administration is really going to have to face what they've created.
Yes, and Harris, you know, we talked
illegally crossing the U.S. southern border is approaching record numbers again tonight. Meanwhile, the Biden administration also announced a controversial new policy that will allow nearly 500,000 migrants to temporarily stay and work in this country. Morgan Chesky has late details.
Tonight in Eagle Pass, Texas, officials say they're overwhelmed. The town now under a state of emergency in response to a massive migrant surge. In just 24 hours, 2,500 migrants crossed illegally. The mayor issuing a call for more help and resources.
We need to do something to control the situation. This is not normal. It is not normal for thousands of people to simply be walking in a line without consequence.
Nationwide, the border crisis is growing. On Wednesday, a Border Patrol official tells NBC News nearly 9,000 migrants crossed illegally, approaching the record high of more than 10,000 set in May. Tonight, President Biden is sending 800 more troops to help Border Patrol with logistics and processing migrants. The migrant surge so sudden, federal authorities shut down the international bridge here so staff could process thousands of men, women, and children. We found many left Venezuela to make the treacherous journey.
¿Cuántas personas de Venezuela? Wow. And so this is fitting exactly with what we've been hearing over the last several weeks. So many people coming from Venezuela.
Now the Biden administration announcing a major policy change, giving temporary legal status to nearly 500,000 Venezuelan migrants, allowing them to apply for work permits in the U.S., adding they'll be temporarily barred from deportation. Earlier, we met Yulia at an overcrowded shelter in San Antonio, also from Venezuela, and a mother of two.
Yulia, dime, ¿cómo están los niños?
Yulia tells me her kids are in good health, but the journey was difficult. Yet her family, like so many others, remains committed to going forward. Crossing here is dangerous. Officials confirming 2 drownings in 2 days, including a 3-year-old boy. Meanwhile, Republicans have blasted the Biden administration, saying its lax border policies have caused the ongoing crisis. Texas Governor Greg Abbott posting this video, writing, Texas installed razor wire in Eagle Pass to stop illegal crossings. Today, the Biden administration cut that wire, opening the floodgates. The video showing migrants crossing over after border agents cleared the fence.
And Morgan, we understand the mayor of Eagle Pass is now reaching out to Mexico.
Yeah, Lester, he is hosting a binational meeting tomorrow with Mexican leaders to discuss what he calls a deepening immigration crisis. And as for that video released by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Border Patrol official says that those migrants were in the water and the agents were fearful they could possibly drown. Lester?
Morgan Chesky, thanks. Tom Yamas is also at the border tonight. And Tom, you've been talking with migrants. Any indication of why this surge is happening right now?
Lester, good evening. That is the big question right now in Eagle Pass. I want to show you this just behind me here. The situation with migrants has gotten so bad, they've created this makeshift processing center under one of the main bridges here, one of the main arteries connecting Mexico to Eagle Pass. It appears they've separated the migrants, at least for now. There seems to be families on one side. You can see some of them getting into Border Patrol vans right there. And then on the other side, it looks to be a large amount of males that have come in without families and or without their wives and have arrived here. I had a chance to speak with the sheriff of Eagle Pass, who used to be a Border Patrol agent. He says in all his years in law enforcement and working this border, he has never seen a problem this bad. So I had a chance to speak to a few of the migrants, and I asked them, what happened with this week? Why are so many migrants coming to the United States this week? They told me they have no idea. One pointed to the sky saying the weather was better, but they also said it was very easy to jump on those trains and get right to the border. Lester, we know now they've shut down at least one highway and all of those trains.
The Biden administration has decided to pay reparations to illegal aliens. In other words, foreigners who came here without invitation, who came in willful violation of legal statutes passed by our Congress per our Constitution, those people are about to get a groveling apology and huge amounts of cash. Why? Because our government dared to enforce its own laws, which now apparently is immoral. So the Biden White House is going to pay criminals for committing crimes. It's almost impossible to believe that's real, but it is real. According to the Journal, the administration plans to, quote, offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 a person in compensation. The U.S. Departments of Justice, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services are considering payments that could amount to close to $1 million per family. $1 million per family for illegal aliens at exactly the moment that American families are becoming noticeably poorer by the day.
Administration is considering paying illegal immigrant families separate at the border about 450,000